What's up? Hey guys, and welcome back for another unboxing and review. This time is gonna be the Hot Toys Beetlejuice. The juice is loose. What's crazy about this one, obviously I purchased mine on the Christmas day on the 25th of December. I believe on that day Hot Toys showed the official pictures of how the final product is gonna look, and I was surprised because I didn't expect this figure to have two brand new head sculpts. I guess I didn't read the description very well, but I thought that this is gonna be an interchangeable face with this crazy eye look. So when I first saw the in-hand pictures, you know, of the blogger photos and the first unboxing, I was like, holy shit, man. So I purchased this on the 25th of December, and now here we are in, I guess, the 6th of June as I'm doing this unboxing and review, which is crazy. Again, I've contacted Sideshow a couple of times, and nobody knew what the hell was going on. My theory is because maybe when they're doing the second batches they had like trouble with maybe the wool hair. Again, I don't know, that's just my theory. If you guys know, please let me know in the comments below. Also guys, make sure to give me a like, subscribe, the channel is gonna help a lot. So yeah, let's dig in here. Yeah man, let's take a look at this awesome base here before doing the unboxing. Again, very excited about this one. It's gonna be my first Hot Toys figure with actually wool hair. Or rooted hair, whatever I want to say. Some people say it's more wool hair because if this would have been rooted hair, it would have been more stylized. But again, man, for $350, you have two head sculpts, and again, this thing should have been like a, you know, a DX figure. But again, it is what it is. Very excited. Again, my first figure with wool hair was the Aragorn from InArt, which I no longer have. I had that figure before starting my channel almost 2 years ago. So again, fantastic box here. You obviously have some motifs here from the second movie, which I love. Again, I'm gonna watch the movie again. I haven't seen the movie since it was released, so again, very excited to watch the movie again, watch the special feature, watch how accurate this guy is in comparison to the movie. But again, fantastic box here. You have to almost like this sandpaper effect on front here. Again, you have the nice picture of the character, you have the movie logo right there, Beetlejuice. But again, fantastic movie, man. Tim Burton, you know, really knows his shit. So hopefully they're gonna make a third one, possibly, who knows. This one did very well at the box office. I think it made like over $400 million. So again, very big box, as you can see. This, I think, is pretty much on the same level as like the Chewbacca and C-3PO that released recently as well. It has this wider, you know, kind of, you know, footprint here to obviously accommodate the two heads, which are in these separate containers. But again, you do have this character. I don't remember his name. Was it Bob? Yeah, there's Bob right there with the shrunken head. Again, very nice. Here you have the Beetlejuice logo right there with this stripes effect. On the back you have some warnings right there, which is very nice. On top you have the Beetlejuice again, 1/6 scale collectible figure, and this is MMS 767. And again, this guy has a removable slipcover, which is awesome, and you do have a lot of goodies inside. Again, the two containers for the heads, the body, which is separate. It looks like there's a book right there, a bunch of hands. You have the diorama base, and I cross my fingers, guys, that hopefully this is not gonna be a piece of shit. You know, I hate when Hot Toys give us this nice diorama, but like the quality, you know, it feels almost subpar. It feels almost like it's a vinyl material, but again, it's lacking details. So hopefully this thing is gonna be pretty cool. You have a tool right there for the eyes and a regular base. So yeah. Also on the back of the box, you have this terrific artwork here of Beetlejuice. Again, you have multiple, you know, displays here. You have him with the microphone, crazy looking hand right there with the painted nails, the ring. They have the nice diorama, which unfortunately this thing doesn't light up. It would have been cool, especially using like USB-C technology. The title right there could have light up. And again, you have that crazy head sculpt and the heart. Oh yeah, man, this is Christmas Day almost. I have the same feeling every time I open a Hot Toys figure. Holy shit, those head sculpts are crazy, especially this one. Damn, very crazy looking. And man, that wool hair, holy fuck. Man, those eyes again. We're gonna look at this here, guys, in a couple of minutes for you. I'm basically gonna do the unboxing here, and then I'm gonna watch the movie again. So again, I'm gonna show you these individually. You have the box right there, the base, which unfortunately the details on this one, I mean, I do appreciate that we have you know, a diorama base, but the details, they don't look that crisp. It's not too bad. On camera it's actually for some reason more detailed than what it is. You also have a newspaper right there, but again, yeah, see, this thing is hollow. It's almost like this I guess vinyl material that they use on a couple of their diorama bases. So you know, it is what it is. Again, you know, here lies Beetlejuice. I do have the nice body right there. Have some awesome weathering, extra pegs right there, the instructions at the bottom. You have some watches, the heart, extra tongue right there, some extra accessories like the microphone, that little book right there, and then the heads are kind of wedged in this awesome container, which is actually pretty cool, because now you have the option to display one of these heads. And I might actually track down and buy an extra body, but in the meantime, you can actually display the heads next to the figure. You know, you can actually remove obviously the top, but just we're gonna take a minute here and appreciate. Obviously, I'm gonna take the container off here, but man, come on, focus, man. Yeah, look at that right there. Look how crazy the eyes are. Obviously, these are gonna be movable, but man, that crazy haircut right there. Again, man, wool hair, I think, or rooted hair is gonna be the future of the one scale collecting right there. This thing is phenomenal. And again, the likeness to Michael Keaton is insane. You can see all the nasty like textures right there, almost like green moss. Wow, this thing is phenomenal. And you have the Beetlejuice name tag right there. So yeah, obviously guys, give me here a couple of seconds. I'm gonna, you know, take all this stuff out. I'm gonna watch the movie again. For you it's gonna be a couple of seconds. For me it's probably gonna be a couple of hours. So yeah, let's take a look here. Okay, so when it comes for the accessories, here's obviously you have your typical manual here. Again, if you're new to collecting Hot Toys, I would recommend you guys checking this one out. If you're a regular, well, this is just, I mean, it's cool to have, you know, for every figure, in case you have some fragile pieces. Then you have a journal right here, I guess some newspaper, the afterlife. This is pretty cool. You know, I have some very small writing here. I think they kind of duplicated some of the pages right there, but again, it's very nice to have. I like when one scale companies give us these small details. And here you have the book of the recently deceased, which had a pretty big part in the movie, but again, this one has some individual pages. Again, just like the journal, some of them kind of repeat, so, but again, it's very nice to have this one. Very cool detail right there. You have some extra pegs. This, the regular tool to move the eyes. You have the heart right there, which is very nice. It's gonna be very fun to pose the figure with this, especially with like this hand right there. You know, I can have recreate some this kind of pose. Also, I could use this with other figures in the horror collection, mainly like the Leatherface, maybe the Pennywise. That would be cool to have. And then you have a watch right there, very cool, very small detail. You have like a hand bracelet right there for the hand, a microphone, which you did use in the movie. And I guess this nail filing tool right there, which you use with this hand right there. I believe there's like a peg inside where you can, you know, peg it right there. There's a peg inside right there, and there's a hole in the finger right there, as you can see. And if I can do this again, I'm kind of watching my screen right there, so it's a little bit difficult to do. There you go. You can kind of have something like this. Hopefully I'm not gonna break this on camera. That would be interesting for you guys to see. Come on, let me get it right in there. I have to do this off camera here for a second, guys. Okay, sorry about my sausage fingers, but there you go. This is very nice. And again, if we take a closer look at the hands right there, you can see how nasty they are. I didn't realize in the movie that his nails are individually painted, like there are different colors. That's pretty interesting. You have this like moss effect, very nasty, almost like he's you know, dead for quite a while, even though I think Beetlejuice is supposed to be like a demon. He's like 600 years old or something. Again, very nice. And you have a bunch of them. This is open that you have left and right. Again, the details are exquisite. This one has a ring right there. Also very cool. You have a thumbs up with the fire. I think this is the scene when he blows the wall. Again, very cool. A pointy hand right there. Again, if you can zoom in on these, and you know, you can guys appreciate the details. Again, with the veins, the wrinkles, and another hand right there with the ring. Again, you can hold the heart on this one. Okay, so speaking of the base, unfortunately you have this like vinyl PVC material. Some of the details are not that good on this one, to be quite honest with you, and I was expecting this. Unfortunately, because of the material, again, some of the details are kind of blurry. For instance, like if you look on the skeletons right here, or the gargoyles or whatever I call them, the details are pretty cool, but on some of the rock, you know, it's pretty blurry. You know, this almost feels like if you go onto a pet shop, you know, take a look at the aquarium section, this is what you would find for like $20-30. But again, considering this is from Hot Toys, you would expect a bigger level of quality in this. It's not bad, but I'm guessing, you know, when they were doing the molds, some of the details got lost, you know, on the rock. It still looks decent. You have some decent weight, but unfortunately they keep using this cheap ass vinyl material, you know, for their environmental basis, and sometimes it suffers. But again, you have here lies Beetlejuice, you know, with the arrow. Again, you don't want to say his name 3 times because it's gonna pop up here in the collection, which is gonna be actually pretty cool. And you have some writing on the base, you know, some licensing stuff, and you have some pads right there. But yeah, not too bad. Again, I was disappointed a little bit. I'm not sure how well it's gonna pick up in camera, but in some areas it's a little bit blurry. But again, it is what it is. I still prefer to have a, you know, diorama base than have none. And then by far the best accessories you're gonna be obviously the head sculpts. This one right here, the goofy eyes one, has a magnetic tongue that you have to attach right there. There's a very small magnet. It's quite easy to, you know, to remove. It's a little bit flimsy. But again, the cool thing about these heads is they have rooted hair, which is awesome. Technically, this is not a artisan figure per se, just because artisan figures have more style in the head, in the hair, should I say. This is more messy. But again, technically, this is an artisan figure, and this is the first one that they give us that has 2 head sculpts, which is amazing. Again, at first, when this went up for pre-order, I thought that this was pretty much gonna be like an interchangeable face, because as you can see, there's a little bit of a gap right there. So I pretty much said, man, they're not gonna give us, you know, 2 extra heads for like 300, and this thing was like $350 or something like that, you know, which is insane considering the sideshow version is like $300. I think this was even cheaper. It was probably $320. I'm gonna put the info above. And the sideshow was like $280. But this one again has 2 head sculpts. Again, look how goofy this one is. Very creepy looking with the eyes right there. You know, the eyes kind of come from the sockets right there. The hair is very nice. It's very stiff. There's a lot of product in it, and unfortunately it's not too accurate to the movie, in the sense where in the movie there was like less product in his head. His head was almost, he was missing some hair. It wasn't as, what's the word, as full as this one. There was a lot of strands. It was more poofy looking. You can kind of see throughout the hair. But this one, because Hot Toys used a lot of product in his hair, it's very stiff. So again, if you want to modify your hair, you would have to kind of wet the hair, remove some of the product. But again, the details on this face, you can kind of see the nastiness right there, the moss. Very nice paint application on this one throughout. You can see the wrinkles on his eyes. This one is awesome. And again, the main attraction is gonna be the main one here. We can see the likeness to Michael Keaton, which is insane. Again, I took the liberty here to move the eyes right there a little bit so you can kind of see how awesome this thing is. And again, I like the fact that they pretty much include these type of bases, so whatever I'm displaying the figure, one of the heads is gonna sit on this nice base right there. It has like a mirror effect. You can see Beetlejuice right there on the bottom. Again, don't say his name 3 times. But this thing is phenomenal, guys. One of the best heads I've seen from Hot Toys period. And again, I've been collecting Hot Toys since like 2009, so I've seen a good fair share of heads, you know, throughout my collecting years. And again, this one is insane. I would love to see this guy in Cora scale, but again, beggars cannot be choosers here. Even the teeth, very nasty looking. You have some moss on his chin. Again, the skin texture is second to none. And again, you have the nice style right there of the rooted hair. And this one, again, inside you have the small tool where you can move the eyes, and there's a little bit of a padding right there. Yeah, this thing is very creepy. The juice is loose. Also, you have this base right there. A little, I would have to say this is a little bit of an afterthought. It's a pretty much recycled base from like a Star Wars figure that they've been using like, I don't know, 10 years ago. You have the Beetlejuice logo right there, and you have this which can technically be reversed. You have this like grass effect. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I would have preferred this to be kind of, you know, part of the base, because again, if you plug the crotch grabber right there, you know, this thing is pretty wobbly. You know, it's a little bit, you know, unsettling to see. But again, I do like the striping. This almost like has this like sandpaper effect to it on the green parts, which is pretty cool. And then you have the fantastic body here. Again, very nicely made. There's some padding inside, especially for the belly right there. The only thing is kind of weird. They should have put more padding right there in his growing area. Yeah, I'm kind of touching his parts. Very weird. It's a little bit, you know, it kind of goes like this and then it goes in. So I have to do something about that myself. Again, I was kind of surprised with the material on his suit. It's very thin. I'm not gonna say it's like cheap looking because it's not, but it's very thin. So I would assume in the movie he wasn't having like the best of qualities when it comes to the suit. And again, here the tie is magnetized, which is very nice, so it stays in place. You have some nice textures on the neck right there. That moss, you know, goes throughout. That's awesome. It's a sculpted neck. You have a ball joint. Then you have this clear piece, which honestly I'm not a big fan of. Most of their recent figures have this, and they don't have the very secure connection, you know, to the heads. And you have some padding right there on the shoulders. Again, you have the nice stripes right there, so the proportions are gonna look exquisite. You have these hands that come with the figure, the base ones. Very nice textures throughout and nice weathering, as you can see. Also, he has some nice boots right there, and I believe in the movie these boots are kind of open, especially in the first one. You know, they were a little bit looser, especially on top. Again, very nice textures right there. You can see on the bottom. You have some tread. Yeah, very awesome suit. And again, because this is almost like a synthetic material here, nylon, you can pose the shit out of this figure and it's not gonna damage. And as you can see right there, there's some ratcheting joints at the knee right there. Same thing on the you know, elbow right there. Yeah, very fun to pose. This thing is gonna be a blast to pose. I might do a second video. I'm gonna show you guys how it's gonna look in the collection, you know, with the other horror figures. I think it's gonna look fantastic. Again, you have some nice padding right there. Yeah, very high quality body. This is gonna be awesome to pose, guys. Cannot wait. Damn. Okay, guys, I have to confess something. You know, I've seen my fair shares of figures throughout the years. Like I said, I've been collecting Hot Toys since like 2009. So, you know, I've seen probably 100 figures in person or more. But I have to say, this thing right here, that face, and that rooted hair, which again, this is my second figure that I have with rooted hair. I used to have the inart Aragorn. But this thing, that stare right there, I'm blown away, man. Look at that. Look how realistic that is. Again, that's Michael Keaton inside the makeup right there. The prosthetics, whatever he had in the movie, in the second one. Which I have to say, I did enjoy a lot. Maybe a little bit more than the first one. But that thing right there, this thing is gonna be awesome to pose, guys. I'm gonna show you guys some awesome poses that you can have with the figure. We're gonna play with the lighting, give this one a greenish light, maybe play with some blue lights here and see how awesome this is. But that is right there. I can practically use this, you know, as the thumbnail right there. You can kind of see that, you know, with the Beetlejuice kind of base right there. This thing is phenomenal, man. I'm blown away, man. And again, I say that a lot, but usually I'm not gonna buy a figure if the figure is gonna suck. You know, I pretty much do my due diligence, especially nowadays with everything is going up in price. You know, I pretty much watch a lot of reviews like you guys. And again, this for sure, you have to jump on this. If you're a horror fan, if you're a Beetlejuice fan, this thing is a must. And usually I say this at the end of the video, but man, it's not even funny. The juice is loose. And again, the details in his hair. I still think the color is not 100% accurate to the movie. It was a lot more yellowish. But again, this might be because of my lights. They're pretty close here. Also, it was very poofy. I'm gonna put some pictures above so you can kind of see, guys, the comparison. It was kind of more, his hair, I think on the sideshow version of the first movie was a little bit more accurate. But again, this, because he has a lot of product in it, you know, it's a little bit difficult. But again, that face, all I did, this took me like 2 seconds, put the eyes on the side like this. This thing has so much life in it, it's not even funny. This is, you know what this reminds me of? And I know it's not even, you know, close. You remember in the Scary Movie, guys, with that ghost face kind of, you know, thing? When he's always like, what's up? This is what he reminds me of. You know, this big ass tongue. This thing is stupid looking, but again, very awesome to have. I'm so happy that they've included a second head sculpt. You know, this thing is awesome, man. But yeah, awesome looking here. Almost like a cartoon, you know, with these eyes right there that come out of his skull. Very nice. Was a small scene in the movie, but I think this was actually a practical effect. I don't think there was a lot of CGI in the movie, or maybe none. Everything was like practical, which is cool. You know, it's a good old you know, technique that they used back in the day, and I'm happy to see that, because again, nowadays everything is AI, everything is CGI to the top. So again, the fact that we see some practical effects is always good in you know, in movies. And again, this one is very fun looking. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna use this set, to be quite honest with you. I prefer the regular one. You know, this one right there, the more serious expression, which I think looks fantastic. But this one is fun to have, you know, next to the figure. And again, this one has a magnetic tongue. If you display him without a tongue, you have that magnet right there. Again, even like the details inside of his mouth, very nice. You have that shininess on the teeth, very nice looking. And again, this magnetizes, and you have the nice, you know, hair right there. Very awesome looking. And I will have to say, this is actually my first Beetlejuice figure. Even like from NECA, I don't have any as of right now. They also done like an 18-inch version, which was pretty old, with like some motion activated sounds. And for the longest time, I wanted to get the sideshow version from the first movie, but I've heard that that suit, like the black striping, the material that they use on that was actually coming off. I've seen some reviews where pretty much people are like, you know, touching and the material is coming off. So I'm not sure what sideshow is using for that, but you know, I'm gonna stick with the second movie here. Hopefully they're gonna make a third one. That's gonna be, you know, awesome to see. Man, this thing, wow. So again, I like to do these on camera as much as possible and show you guys here how to move the eyes. Again, there are some sockets inside like usual. You can use your fingers, it is a little bit tricky, but you can use this you know, device right there that Hot Toys give us. So I'm gonna try with my fingers. Again, I have big fingers, so it's not gonna be the easiest thing to do. And also I have to be very careful with the you know, the rooted hair right there. But you can kind of see here. Just give you guys an example how realistic this is. Now I like what InArt is doing. They pretty much give us like a magnetic tool. I think it's a little bit easier to do with that. This hopefully Hot Toys is gonna give us some innovation soon and give us like a similar device to InArt. I'm not sure if InArt have like a patent on that. as you can see, moving the eyes, again very natural. You can create a lot of goofy, you know, looks like he had in a movie. That's why I like the character so much. Again, very natural to move his eyes. Right there, looking on the side. Yeah, he looks like he's stone. So again, it takes a little bit of a wiggling. It's not the easiest thing to do, but like when you find like a, you know, a nice, you know, area that you're happy with, you know, it can look incredible. That's very awesome looking. I actually like to put the eyes on the right, but again, you have even, let's try here looking down. I think that's also gonna be creepy looking like that. That's awesome. Wow. Yeah, this thing, man. This thing is almost perfect. Again, having him here with the behind the base. Here lies Beetlejuice. Yeah, wow. Again, this took me a little bit of time finagling to do. Pretty much popped his watch right there, his microphone, that bracelet on the other hand, and he looks incredible. Again, I wish that for the hands they would do like this hands that are pretty much sculpted with the wrist, so you can pretty much magnetize them inside. I think they have a couple of figures that they have that. I know InArt are doing the same. I think that would have been cool. Just, you know, to avoid having some seams. Obviously these small accessories are kind of hitting the joints right there, so that's very nice, especially the watch. But I think in the future, if they could do some sculpted hands like they pretty much did on the Indiana Jones figure that's gonna come out soon, I think that's awesome. Even if this guy pretty much has a long sleeve and in most poses the joints are gonna be hidden, it's still cool to do. You know, you can also add more texture to the wrists. But again, this pose right there, very fun looking. You have the pointed hand right there, the microphone holding one right there. Again, he's about to have a good time. Also, technically, what you can do, you can pop that base on this, so you can have the movie logo right there. You know, you can pretty much position one of the hands that hold the statue, so it's not gonna fall. But again, it's very secure as is. When it comes to the first poses here, I think this looks incredible. Again, the suit is pretty flexible. It's gonna do most of the poses, so you're not gonna have to worry about leave the suit like that for a long time. It's not gonna damage it. I would consider be very careful with the neck, because again, there's some paint on there. You do not want to rub that, you know, when putting the head in. And also make sure the head is secure, you know, before you're moving it around. Again, I would have preferred this to be like a magnetic head, like they use on Darth Maul. Would have been easier to move around, but as is, again, that likeness is, I would say this thing is 98% there, man. Very awesome looking. Wow, this right there, again, I managed to modify my lights here. I put a green one and a bluish one, which was similar to how he was in the movie, the lighting. Again, this thing looks fantastic. I mean, guys, I would recommend getting this one before it sells out. I'm still surprised it's available at Sideshow, or at least last time I checked. There was a huge delay on this one. I pretty much purchased mine on the Christmas day, the 25th of December, and I got him like, again, 2 weeks ago. It took me a while to do this review because I had a lot of stuff that I wanted to film at the same time. But again, here, this thing is a masterpiece, guys. I'm surprised that this thing is not a, you know, a DX figure. It would easily be a DX figure, especially with the rooted hair. But you're getting so much, you know, for your money. It's not even funny. Again, very fun to pose. We're gonna explore more, obviously, here. Make sure to stick around until the end of the video. I'm gonna do my regular showcase. I'm gonna bring those back for these reviews because, you know, this guy deserves, you know, a long review. So again, there's a lot of stuff to show. Plus, I like these, you know, putting these small accessories on the figure. I think it makes him pop. He even more, and such an iconic character here. Again, in my opinion, after Batman, Beetlejuice is the best character that Michael Keaton has done. Again, this is just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you think some of his best work was. Also in The Founder, that McDonald movie, I think he did a very great job. But yeah, this thing right there with the lighting, you know, it's scary looking. Also guys, please, Beetlejuice here is urging you to give me a like and subscribe to the channel. That's gonna help a lot. So please be kind and do so. Again, the goal here is to grow the channel as much as I can. You know, so hopefully I can bring you guys decent reviews and do my best here. And please let me know also in the comments below if you guys have recommendation, if you guys have, you know, tips for me that can improve the lighting here or the posing. I would appreciate that. I'm gonna take all the criticism I can so I can create a better job here and do a better channel for you guys so you can enjoy more. And right there with the heart, that's awesome. Very awesome figure, guys. Also, you wanna stay tuned. I'm gonna do a separate video with this guy for sure. I'm gonna see how he looks with the other icons. I don't think he's necessarily a horror icon, but he's, you know, he's gross looking enough so it's gonna fit inside the collection. But I'm still debating if I'm gonna display him in a Detolf or next to the other figures, because I just sold my Freddy from Sideshow, so I think I'm gonna have a spot for him there. We'll see. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to display the box because it's too big. As much as I like my boxes, this one is almost like double the size of a Trick or Treat Studios box, so we'll see how I can arrange that. But yeah, for sure, make sure to stick around after this review. I'm gonna do a separate video and show you guys how badass this thing looks on display. I was also very tempted to buy that sandworm that NECA has made. I know it's not the same scale because that's 110, this is obviously 1/6, but I think that sandworm that comes with almost like that luchador kind of small Beetlejuice, if I can display that next to him, I think it would elevate the display even more, so that would be cool. But again, having here with the book of the recently deceased, which again has a pretty major role in the movie. This thing, guys, under this lighting right there, I'm blown away, man. Such an awesome piece. So guys, as usual, thanks for watching. Make sure to give me a like, subscribe to the channel, it's gonna help a lot. Let me know what you think about this awesome figure here, Beetlejuice. The great Michael Keaton did a fantastic job. Also make sure to stick around until my next video. I'm gonna do the showcase with this guy, show you guys how he looks in the collection. And thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe out there. See you soon.